Get started. Welcome to the second Local Hero webinar of 2018. And this is, as I said, the second in a series of 4 webinars that we're doing in advance of our Local Hero competition, which starts on the 1st of April. This week, we're going to be going through how to support your fundraisers online. So it'll probably be about a 20-minute webinar with some time for questions at the end. I'll post it on YouTube, and I'm happy to send a copy of the slides to anyone who wants them. What we're going to be going through today is an overview of Local Hero 2018, how the competition works, how you can take part. We'll go through how to set up a fundraising page. We'll talk through, from the charity or community group's perspective, how to support your fundraisers during the campaign. We'll look at some of Local Giving's fundraiser resources, which hopefully will make that a little easier. We'll look through how to promote your fundraisers online through social media. Then we'll go through some top tips of what we recommend to do during the campaign. We'll do some tips for what to do after the campaign, some follow-up ideas, and then, as I said, there'll be plenty of time for questions. So, first things first, why we're all here. Local Giving run an annual competition called Local Hero, which runs throughout the month of April every year. And the basic idea of the competition is every fundraiser page set up on Local Giving, so every charity or community group that has a fundraiser page set up for them, is automatically enrolled into a competition that we call Local Hero, where fundraisers compete not to see who can raise the most money, but to who can get the most unique donors to donate to them, so the most individuals to donate to them. So as they're raising money for your cause, and as they're shouting about the work that you do, they're also taking part in this competition where we have £5,000 worth of prizes. There are 20 prizes, and on our page during Local Hero, we will have a leaderboard of the top 20 fundraisers, so you can keep a track of who's winning and how close everyone is to the top. The competition will end on the 30th of April, so it will run throughout the month of April. If you want to take part, just make sure that you have an active fundraising page during April, and remember that only the donations in April will count. So if you set it up in March, or if you get a few in May, they won't count towards the total. So in terms of prizes that are up for grabs, the winner will get £1,000. We'll then have runners-up prizes of £500, £200, and £100. So the winner last year was Adam Curtis, who ran a marathon in aid of a local school. He got 261 unique individuals to donate to him during his fundraiser campaign over the course of the month of April. And in addition to the £2,000 that he raised, we gave him £1,000 in prize money. And just for sort of perspective of how much you should be raising to get a prize during Local Hero, people who were finishing like 20th, 19th, 18th, we're getting between 40 and 60 individuals to donate to them. So definitely achievable, definitely doable. So to set up a fundraiser page on Local Giving, all a donor has to do is go to your Local Giving page, and I have an example here of a charity called Livestock, and click on that orange Fundraise for Us button beneath your donation example. So all they have to do is go to your Local Giving page and click on that orange Fundraise for Us button. They'll then appear as a drop-down, which you can see up on the top right, on your Local Giving page. So once they've set it up, their fundraiser page will be linked to your main page. The process is very simple. They just have to put in some key information, so an email address, and give us their name and create a password. And then they're brought to this page where they're able to come up with a title for their fundraising page. So it could be like Conor's Marathon Run or Kerry's Head Shave Challenge. They then put in their story, so they talk about what's motivating them to do this challenge, what their connection with your charity is, and a little bit about the work that you do. They're able to create their own URL, so they're able to create their own web address, and they're able to upload a photo. So usually the photo is something bright and friendly that showcases the challenge that the fundraiser is going to undertake. In terms of supporting your fundraisers, so from a charity's perspective, how can you help these people that have opted to raise money for you online? So a couple of things to do are help them sign up. If they're apprehensive about registering, or if they're not very tech savvy, give them a hand with the sign up process. It's very quick and simple to do. and just generally motivate them and thank them. So make sure from the offset that they know how appreciative your charity is that they decided to do this for you. I really encourage you to inform them on some key messages. So make sure that they know what the charity does. Maybe give them like a paragraph sort of elevator pitch of what it is that your group does, so that if they get asked asked for any information about what your charity does, they're able to sort of coherently explain what it is that they're fundraising for. I would also specifically let them know what their money is going to be spent on. So if you have a particular project that you could allocate their money towards, I would tell them about that project, introduce them to the service users, sort of let them know that this is where their money is going to be going towards, so that when they're speaking to their donors, they're able to translate that message. People like donating towards something that they can feel a sort of tangible connection to. People like fundraising for something that is it's quite clear and sort of relatable, rather than just the general costs of the organization. You could do a fundraising welcome pack for them. So you could put together a little document with some key messages about projects, some key information about your charity, contact details, and maybe some examples of tweets or Facebook posts they could put out. But just try and see if you can put together like a little welcome email for them, or give them a call and sort of explain where all these resources are. In terms of promoting your fundraisers, you could put up a poster in your center if you have a physical space as a charity. I would send an email around to all the staff and volunteers, so trustees as well, anyone connected with the charity. Before they even begin, introduce them to the fundraiser, say this is Charlie or this is Mary, they're doing this fundraising challenge for us. Let us know if you can help in any way. Please promote their page when it goes live. I'd introduce them to your service users and to your supporters in a newsletter. So send an email around, let everyone know who they are, introduce them, introduce the challenge, and let them know what they're fundraising for. Introduce them to the concept of Local Hero as well, and let them know now in March that this competition is going to be taking place in April. If you can, link them on your website, so get someone to put a button on your website that links through to the fundraising page. I'd also contact local bloggers or journalists, so if you have any local press connections, reach out to them and let them know. We have a press portal on Local Giving that you can access through our homepage. I'd really encourage you to have a look and see if any of your local newspapers are there. You could link their page to your social media site, so make sure that your Facebook and Twitter accounts are introducing all of your followers to their Local Giving fundraiser page, and just try and get them linked up with anyone that could help them with promotion. So a trustee who might have a wide network of people to tap into, someone who's good at social media, connecting with your charity, link them in with people that you think will be able to help them promote their page. In terms of like going the extra mile, there are a couple of things you could do. If someone's going to do like a marathon challenge for you, so like London Marathon or a local city or town 10K or half marathon, get them a t-shirt printed, something with the charity's logo or something with like the charity slogan, so that they can keep as a keepsake. But it's also something they can train in, something they can run in. It's a sort of conversation starter as well. You could also get cards printed up or like small posters. So here are some examples of templates that Local Giving have. The photo in the middle is a group who had a fundraising challenge that did a cake sale with a piece of paper with all the information about where people could donate to their fundraiser. Just little things. Try and think outside the box. How can you go the extra mile in helping them spread the word of what they're doing? Remember though that Local Hero is a very social media friendly campaign. The competition really heats up towards the end and people start tweeting out things like, oh, we're in 5th place and we only need 10 more donations to get into the top 3. Or, I'm in 2nd place, I only need 1 more donation and I'll win the £1,000. It really sort of heats up and people can keep a track of how the competition is going. In terms of what you can do to support your fundraisers, we've got some example tweets here of how you can recruit fundraisers. So the example here is itching for a charity challenge, fundraise for us this April and become a #LocalHero. Find out more at Localgiving.org/LocalHero. Then we have more examples of how you can support your fundraisers throughout the campaign. Now you can thank your fundraisers at the end. We have the same for Facebook. So example posts of how you can recruit, get support, and then thank fundraisers. And remember that if you're going to take part in Local Hero, you want to turn it into a sort of social media friendly campaign. You want to tell an interesting story online, and you want to take all of your sort of followers and all your supporters on a journey over the course of the month where they see the campaign begin, then take off, then get onto the leaderboard, then really start competing for places, and then hopefully at the end finish in one of those top 20 places. So really try and build a story across your social media networks. You can also directly share their fundraiser page through their page. So this is an example of someone who ran a half marathon for a charity last year, and you'll see that there's the Facebook share and Twitter share where you can automatically share their link to your social media accounts if you're signed in. In terms of promoting their page on Twitter and Facebook, I thought it'd be helpful to show you an example of what another charity did. So this is the Salford Food Bank, and they've got a series of fundraisers for them last year running the Great Manchester Run. So the first tweet is Keith, one of their fundraisers, telling his friends that he just signed up to do this marathon and linking through to his local giving page. And you can see Salford Food Bank straight away retweeted him, thanking him on behalf of the food bank. Then another tweet where they had a fundraiser called Mark Sign Up, and they posted out a tweet introducing him to all their followers, saying Mark's been an engineer for 36 years. Here's him sharing some experiences about being helped by the food bank. Then finally, Beck, another fundraiser, saying that she signed up to do the 10K for them, and then Salford thanking her for choosing them and letting them know, or letting all their supporters know, that they can sign up too, that there's still places available. Here's another example of them thanking the same fundraiser, Beck, publicly saying thank you, Beck, and publicly sort of saying to their supporters that you can be like Beck too. You can also sign up to create a local giving page for us and fundraise on our behalf. During the campaign, I would be proactive in your support. So a couple of things you can do, as I said, is if they're running a marathon, get them a t-shirt printed. If they're doing a physical challenge, maybe link them to blogs they could read about fitness, or link them to like training regimes that the marathons recommend. If they're having an event, go along, be there in person to support them. If they're running a race, be at the marathon finishing line, or make sure someone from the charity is, so you can take photos or maybe bring a sign. Help them with the preparation of their event. So if they're going to do some challenge for you, like a head shave or a sleep out, or hold like a pub quiz or something, make sure that you are there in person, helping them out, being proactive in your support. And the really key thing to remember is to celebrate their key milestones and successes. The really interesting thing about fundraisers is that most of the donations that will come through these pages may not be directly related to your charity. They might not be people who've encountered your charity before. Most of the people who donate to fundraiser pages are the friends and the families of the fundraisers themselves. So from your perspective, you want to be shouting about them on social media, but it's also really key to keep them motivated as people so that they are sort of inspired to talk about you and to get their own friends and family to donate. And the way that you do that is by celebrating their milestones. Remember that also with local giving, we have a variety of different resources you can tap into. So we have general guides on our resources page about supporting fundraisers and reaching out to different people in your local community. For Local Hero, we have specific resources available. So we've got tips and guides, we've got templates for local press and newsletter releases, we've got Twitter banners, Facebook banners, posters, and we've got those example Twitter and Facebook banners or guides that I showed a couple slides ago. You can access these resources through our homepage by clicking on what we do and then resources. You can also access more Local Hero oriented resources by logging into your account and clicking on My Fundraising Toolkit. So definitely have a look at some of the resources we have and see what you can use to help promote your fundraisers. Going back to the idea of celebrating milestones, remember that you can keep them motivated just by giving them like helpful emails, helpful texts, sort of just letting them know that you're keeping a track of what they're doing and you're supportive from the perspective of the charity. So some examples of what Local Giving do, some examples of the emails we send out to charities that you could also send out to your fundraisers are, a quick email when they get their first donation, congratulating them, you know, giving them a call when they reach 50% of their target. If they raise over like a symbolic amount, so like say £1,000, sending them an email, shouting about it on social media, sending an email around to everyone in the organization. Just encourage them as they get closer and closer to their target, and encourage them as they get further and further up the leaderboard. Try and be personal, try and shout about them on social media, but also try and sort of give them a text or give them a call or directly email them and say, like, I can't believe you've just gotten your 50th donation. This is incredible. Thank you so much. In terms of what to do after the campaign, remember to thank your fundraisers. So if you can arrange for them to come in to visit beneficiaries, sort of show to them what it is that their challenge fundraiser did for your charity and how much it meant to everyone connected with your group. Remember to thank their donors, and this is really key. Don't see all these people that have donated to the fundraiser page as a sort of one-off donation. Try and look at how can you nurture that relationship and turn these people who may never have interacted with your charity before into future supporters, maybe even future fundraisers themselves, potentially new volunteers or service users or trustees of your charity. See it as the opening of a new relationship with these people. So make sure that you're signing up all the people that have donated through the fundraiser to your newsletter, thanking them on social media, keeping them connected with what your charity does. I'd also encourage groups to use this as a case study with funders, especially if it was for a specific project. So if someone does a challenge fundraiser for you, raises £1,000 from one of your projects, gets 50 new people to donate in their local community, use that as a case study with your trust and foundation applications and sort of demonstrate to the funders that this is an initiative or this is a project that has community support. Somebody went out of their way to fundraise personally for this. The community responded by making donations. Now we're asking you to sort of leverage their support and give us the rest of the funding that we need. I'd also encourage groups to learn from the experience. If this is your first time doing it, make sure you're documenting all the things that went well, all the things that didn't go well, so that you can learn from the experience going forward. This is an interesting quote from Mike, who's a fundraising consultant at Lime Green. He wrote a blog for us a couple of years ago, and he gave us this quote. So the best campaigns aren't dreamed up in a boardroom or on flip chart paper. It's the organic messages, the simple supporter stories that aren't put through a brand filter that really capture people's imaginations. In today's world of spontaneous online interactions, I think that too many charities underestimate how well others can tell their story for them. So here's the question: is your charity brave enough to take a step back and let your supporters tell their own story too? What Mike is getting at there is that when charities are communicating the need for fundraising online, they're talking about the different work that the group does, and sort of trying to convince people that it's worth donating towards. When you have fundraisers signed up, it's often better to let them do the talking, let them put it into their own words, and let them sort of tell their personal story about why they've been motivated to do this marathon or to do this challenge to fundraise for your group. And it's really more of a case of you supporting them and promoting them and sharing them, and retweeting them and encouraging them to do that for you. And when it goes through that sort of organic process of a fundraiser explaining what it is that your group does rather than directly from you, it's more relatable to people, and it sort of shows people that this project is something that has a real sort of human connection. So if you can, learn from sort of Mike and learn from that quote and try and see not how can you sort of lead your fundraiser to say certain things, but how can you promote their perspective on your charity and sort of highlight the fact that they've been motivated to fundraise for you. So today we've covered an overview of Local Hero, how to set up a fundraising page, how to support your fundraisers. We went through some of our resources. We went through how to promote your fundraisers online, some tips for what to do after the campaign, and what to do at the end in terms of keeping people motivated and keeping people up to date with what your group does. That's it for today. We do have 2 more Local Hero webinars coming up. We've got one on the 15th and one on the 20th. These will go through how to organize a team fundraising event, how to organize multiple fundraisers at one time, and we'll also go through how to be a fundraiser for your own charity. So if you can't recruit anyone to do a fundraising challenge for you before April, how you can take the initiative and do it yourself. You can register for these at webinars@localgiving.org. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to give us a call on 0300 111 2340. You can also email help@localgiving.org, and remember to follow us on Twitter @localgiving. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for coming along.